Right, so there I was in Portugal. I'd just come down from Fatima, the holy town, and a couple of days later I found myself in a small village, and I was going to the local shop to get something, and a guy was walking down the road with a little old lady in front of her. And he was pretending to whip her. Great guy, real striking looking guy. He had bit of white hair, white beard, and a black suit on. And he noticed the bike, and he liked it. The bike that I was riding had a roof on it. I tried to get it so it would protect me from the rain, but all it ended up really doing was protecting me from the sun, but that was good enough. That really did help. So anyway, the bike caught his attention and we got chatting. He invited me to his house, went to his house. Now it turns out him and his wife had recently passed, used to look after some elderly people, and he was now looking after them himself. In his house he had 5 or 6 hospital beds in different rooms with really elderly people in there, and he was taking care of all of them on his own, with his own money, and looking after his elderly mother as well. He was a fantastic guy. Now this guy, when asked, why are you doing this? He does it all for God. And I was fantastic. I won't dwell on him too much. I might come back to him in another story, because he was a fantastic guy and it was a great meeting. And I thought maybe he could explain to me God. He's a full believer, and it's like I was struggling to fully believe. And he did give me one interesting quote. He said, trying to understand God is like trying to fit all of the ocean into a teacup. And I thought, yeah, he's got a point. But he was basically sort of saying it's too difficult for our brains to fully fathom. But this reeked of me of fobbing me off, to be honest. He had lots of Jesus and Marys around his house. We had a great time. And he even came in, when we said goodbye, he gave me a €10 note for the journey. And then he even came and found me and gave me a phone. Any problems, give me a call. Anything you need, I'll help. And I just thought, what a beautiful guy. But at that point, he sort of almost was the last nail in the coffin. I just thought, you know what? I don't fully believe. Now, I did experience lots of ridiculous hospitality. As soon as I arrived in Portugal, for instance, I was just going over the border from Spain to Portugal, and a younger guy overtook me on a push bike. And he stopped and we chatted. We rode along the road and chatted together, and I told him what I was up to. I was on the way through Africa to visit my auntie, and then I was going to try and ride around the world, playing as I went. And he liked the way I constructed my bike with a roof on it, and he was an engineering student, and he basically said, badai, sort of thing, I'd love to do something like this, but I'm at college and maybe when I'm older or whatever. And so we said our goodbyes. About 10 minutes later, he rode back down the road and he said, I want to give you this. And he gave me €30. And he said, I want you to, Portugal's not as friendly as it used to be. It used to be fantastic, but I want to welcome you to Portugal, and I hope you have a really good time. And I was blown away. It was like that was the minute I was in there. It's such a beautiful gesture. The next day, or about 3 or 4 days later, I think, I was down to not much money, maybe 10 or 15 or something like that. And but I was very careful of my money at this point. I was usually, I'd actually bought a little camping stove, and so I was cooking up my own food at this point. I'd actually set off from England and forgot to pack a camping stove or anything to carry food in, so I lived on baguettes and couscous all the way down to Spain. And that's how long it took me to sort of live and busk up the extra money to get that 25 or 30 euros I needed to buy the camping equipment. So anyway, I was cooking for myself at this point, but one day I found myself, I was up the mountains, and there was a cafe there, and it said soup of the day, something like 3 or 4 euros, and I thought, get in, I'm having some of that, and a cup of coffee. I'll stop and have a fag and chill. And so I went in and I was like, can I have a soup of the day, please? Sorry, we haven't got that on today. And I'm like, oh, okay, just have a coffee then, please, thank you. And so I sat outside, and he gave me, he sort of, after about, I took my coffee outside and drank it, and after about 5 minutes he was like, your table's ready, and I was like, oh no, some kind of mistake. And he sort of said, come in, and showed me to a table, and I was just like, oh, no. And he was like, no, shh, you know, sort of thing, it's on the house, everybody's got to eat me. And so they basically gave me the meal of the day. Everyone, hello. And he just wanted to make sure I had enough food, because they had food, he couldn't, you know, everyone needs to eat sometimes. That was his mentality, and that seemed to be the mentality of a lot of Portuguese people. In fact, everyone I met was full of hospitality that I've never seen or received before. It was beautiful. With or without money, the hospitality was spectacular. The people were very warm and friendly. And I played outside and near some churches, and they're a very religious country. And whenever you're in a really religious country and everybody is doing good for each other and looking out for each other, well, not everyone obviously, but like en masse, a lot of people are doing this. It gives you the feeling that God is real, and because small miracles are coming your way every day because people are giving and taking with each other. So it's easy to get caught up in that, but that wasn't exactly what I really needed, a direct line to God. That's what I was looking for. And so after leaving my big white-haired friend, I pushed on south, and now I sort of, in my mind, sort of decided, you know what, I'll go back to the revolving ball of rock. I'll take fate into my own hands, you know. I've seen enough. I wasn't a believer, and so I carried on. About a day or two later, it was my niece's birthday, and I remembered sort of in the afternoon, and so I kind of rode in the first place I found, which looked like a sort of little bar sort of thing, kind of. I went and spoke to the owner and said, have you got a telephone? I need to make a telephone call. You know, I'll pay and everything. And they said, yeah, no problem. And gave me the phone. And I rang Steve's mobile. And Florence was on there. I very quickly, you know, said, happy birthday, or pass it on, or whatever. And had a little chat with Steve. I should have just put the phone down as quickly as possible, because I knew I was ringing his mobile, and I was in Portugal after all. And I only had 6 or 7 euros on me, and that was it. And so, anyway, I put the phone down, and he was like, 15 euros please. And I haven't got 15 euros, I've only got 6 euros. And he instantly turned on me. I knew I should have discussed this up front, but I tried to put a fast one. I was hoping that he'd just think, yeah, thanks a lot, mate. But 15, I was like out of my depth, so I was just like, and they were like, don't give me that. Just go to the cash point and get some money out. And I was like, I haven't got it in the cash point. That's not how I'm living, I'm just travelling through the bus. Anyway, they made me feel absolutely awful. Like you wouldn't believe awful. Like it's just a complete shithead. I behaved like a shithead. And I couldn't forgive myself. Anyway, I sort of rode away from there, head down. And I think it was, in fact, I kept riding. I think I kept riding that night. And I rode the 29 kilometres or something like that it was, to the next town. And then I busked up the money. No, or I slept, I rode for a bit, slept that night, woke up first thing, rode to the town, started busking. It was very thin on the ground, but I managed to get myself 13 or 14 euros or something like that. And so I bought a bit of food, jumped straight on the bike and rode the 29 or whatever kilometres it was back to their bar the next sort of afternoon, and was just like, here you are, I am really sorry about that. And they were like, they were shocked I'd done that. And I said, I don't want you to think bad of me. It was sort of a genuine mistake. I did have money, but didn't think it was going to be that much. And they were like, well, we do put the tariff up for these kind of things. And I was like, no, okay. Anyway, it was cleared up. I wasn't a bad lad in their eyes anymore. And I felt, I paid my price. And so I rode away from there. And it was getting evening by this point. And I was up a mountain. And it was still in the mountains. It was the last sort of mountains before you get down to the coast. And I basically camped and a storm came in and it blew my little tent pegs I had out straight away, and the tent leaked anyway, but this storm was ferocious and it was so windy up there that the tent was just, I was trying to lie in it, but it was covered, the floor was covered in water and the tent was just flapping against me, just relentless. Everything was soaked. I think I'd eaten the last of my food, ran out of money. Not money, that was no good to me in a situation like that. Ran out of water, and basically this raged on for about 48 hours, maybe 60 hours, 70 hours, like relentless. I slept for like 20 minutes here and there when I could, but it was just, it was torture, absolute torture. And when eventually the storm had cleared, I'd scream myself hoarse, screaming up to the heavens, and it was torture, really horrible. I did eventually ride down the mountain. I went to try and bus, but I didn't have a voice left. I was ruined. Some guy did offer me a joint. That helped. It did. I wanted more though. Luckily, I had, before the telephone debacle, I had met a guy that I used to know from Bath with a friend. They were up on a meeting or a convention on olive oil. Basically, the guy I knew was with his friend who had an olive farm down in the Algarve. And they said, oh, if you pass me Algarve, you've got to pop in. So after coming down from the mountain, I had his number, so I called him and he said, yeah, anyway, I rode to where he was, about 20 kilometres or something like that. And he showed up, you could see the state I was in, he was like, here mate, and gave me a £5. He said, go get yourself whatever you need, tobaccos, beers or whatever, and chill, and we're working in a minute, I'll see you later. And anyway, I stayed with them for a few days, and to pay them back, we had to go, but I helped them slaughter 3 pigs they have that clean up their olive groves, and then we had a barbecue, and I stayed just before I kind of overstayed my welcome with my friend who had invited me there. He was worried that maybe they were thinking, come on, move on, and we had a bit of a sort of set to. It's a bit of a shame really, because it was cleared up, but anyway, I was starting to experience flack. Whether this was to do with not being a believer or not, I didn't know. Anyway, I was experiencing flack. But we kind of left it all on good terms, The hosts were phenomenal, thank you very much to them. And I went heading towards my dad's at this point. He lived in the south of Spain, it was a couple of 100 kilometres away, so I was going to go and say hello. Now, this is where I met God. I think I might save this for a part 3. I might do. I think I will. So, if you can bear with it, you might have got bored. How would I know? I'm not really getting any feedback. I'm just assuming that maybe 1 or 2 people is enjoying this and listening to the story, and maybe they're quite content to wait for more little anecdotes. We'll see. I could be putting people off by this. If so, please leave a comment and let me know. Or if you think they should be shorter, in 3-minute chunks, let me know. Otherwise, I'm working blind here. Even though I am doing it with the best intentions to deliver the story in the right way. Maybe I shouldn't be stopping like this and I should be carrying on. I don't know. Please leave a comment and let me know. If you haven't, then please subscribe if you're listening to this part of the presentation. Yeah, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and also give me a thumbs up, or not, or do. Apparently this all helps to grow a channel, but right now I think I need more than that to grow the channel, because this is all falling on deaf ears. I have 1 or 2 people, my subscribers and my friend Dorian. I'm not sure whether a subscriber or not, and I have my friend Justin that looks from time to time. So I'm getting a bit of encouragement, and I appreciate it and I enjoy it. I just need a little bit of input to steer me maybe in the right direction, or to tweak the way I'm doing things, or just carry on as normal. I don't really mind. But yeah, if it's a problem to you that I'm cutting this story short and you've got to wait to hear, until next time, then let me know. If everything's groovy, then don't do anything. I'll just do it next time. See you then. Cheers. Bye.